Band-Aid plastic strip with new Super Stick. It sticks better than any other bandage.
I am stuck on Band-Aid, trust Band-Aid stuck on me.
Trusted name in surgical dressings. Be sure you get Band-Aid plastic strips.
Cybertron Weekly is your central hub for everything Transformers.
Hello YouTube, Ultra Maximus back with another Transformers review. Today we're taking a look at another Combiner Wars figure, and it's Protectobot First Aid, to form, of course, Defensor. So yes, our third Protectobot in the series, and I gotta say, I'm liking the figure already, just looking at it. And I think I'm a little biased because this was actually my only Protectobot as a kid. I did not have the Ratchet figure as a kid, so when this came out, my parents got me First Aid, the ambulance. You know, all they knew was an ambulance robot, and that worked for me. I liked it. I liked the figure. I thought it looked more like a Transformer than Ratchet did, actually, because I had Ironhide, and I thought he looked really weird as a toy. So I was really happy when I got the First Aid figure as a kid, so this makes me very happy. It pulls back lots of nostalgia, and I do appreciate that. So I got this entire set, actually, at my local Toys R Us. I was kind of in shock that they had 2 full sets of Protectobots, so I figured, why not? So let's go ahead and take a look at First Aid's packaging. Here we have First Aid in the box, and it's basically like every other figure set that we've gotten so far out of the Combiner Wars, at least from Second Wave on. We've got the comic book in the back, which I do appreciate as the artwork because, well, I'm spending $15 on a shrunken deluxe figure. I like the value of getting a comic book to read along with it, so keep that up, Hasbro. And we've got the kind of teal or greenish blue turquoise, I'm not really sure what color that is exactly, color scheme going on. Transformers, Generations, of course, picture of a little First Aid back there. Robot mode, there he is in his ambulance mode, which is a retooled off-road, I believe, which is pretty cool. And then it says Protectobot First Aid. It's got the wraparound, Combiner Wars. It says it forms Defensor, and there he's there. There's a picture of Defensor. Here's First Aid. There is the artwork looking super cool. Back of the package, just like all the others, we've got Defensor and Wireframe here, all of the other figures in the set. Robot mode for First Aid, and comes with an axe, which is weird. And there he is in his ambulance mode, which is a little off-roadish, no pun intended. And then we've got a little bio here, so let me bring this up. If you want to read First Aid's bio, you can pause and do so now. So yeah, there he is, First Aid. Let's go ahead and get him out of the package and see what we think. Here we have First Aid out of package, and I gotta say, this figure, oh wow, this might be one of my favorite figures since I think Firefly from the Aerial Bot set. I mean, this is fantastic. The sculpting, all the details they did, and I'll kind of get a close-up here in a minute, and the head sculpt. Oh, the head sculpt is dead on perfect. And again, I might be biased, just like Firefly, because I had this figure as a kid, so that's really cool. He was also one of the more prominent Protectobots on the cartoon series. We saw Hotshot quite a bit, or Hotspot, and we saw First Aid quite a bit. So they were the most interactive with the other Transformers in the cartoon series. So definitely cool, definitely digging him. He does come with the same axe that Off-Road came with. It's black and silver, and yeah, okay, sure. We can work with that. And then he's got his foot/hand, whatever you want it to be. And then, of course, here's his comic book, which the artwork's really nice. Definitely dig that. It's got, just like the others, they actually have, and I didn't show this off on the other ones, they've got bios of the characters, which is kind of cool. One of the funny things is, at the beginning of the comic, Soundwave and Bombshell are talking to, where is he at? Skywarp here, and he's got a dog named Buster, which is funny. I really do dig this. There he is with his little dog, trying to decide if he's going to go to Jupiter with the others, because he can't take Buster, because Buster can't breathe, the poisonous gas on the moon of Jupiter. So yeah, that's kind of funny. I really do like that. The other thing I thought was very interesting in this comic, let's see, where is it at? Gotta find it. Of course, they're driving around motorcycles that look like Groove. Okay, here we go. This I find interesting. So, Galvatron shows up in a very leader-class Megatron body. There's the treads on his back. He's got the treads on his feet, the back of his feet. Could we be getting another retool with that figure? We've got the leader-class Megatron, both G1 and Armada. Are we going to get a Galvatron? That would be pretty cool. And then also, look at Laserbeak on his shoulder back there. He's got wheels. Could we be getting another figure for him? That's very interesting. I was quite intrigued about that. Maybe that's something, because the last comic book mentioned a Monstructor. Today there were a bunch of Hasbro copyright applications for like Wheelie, the Terracons, Predacons, and a bunch of other characters. So, well, maybe we're going to get yet another wave, because this has been a very popular wave, and I don't really blame them for keeping it running for the moment. Everything's been pretty cool so far. So, yeah, definitely cool. Looking again at this guy, after we get off topic here, I mean, he's basically the same articulation as Off-Road. He's got his shoulders. Now, in this configuration, I like to have the panels down. Off-Road, I kind of like to have the panels out a little bit. He's got a ball joint on his head. He's got his shoulder joints, elbow joints, nothing at his little wrists there. He does not have anything as far as hip swivel. He's got ball joints at his hips, knee joints, and that's about it. So let's go ahead and take up some close shots of First Aid, see what we think of the detail. Alright, so taking a look at First Aid here. First things first, that head sculpt. Oh, that is so amazingly G1 awesome. I like all the detail around the body, too. I like the little silver bits around his chest, and all the little detail, like the rescue on the side of the doors. He's got this great big old ambulance hanging off the back of him, which I am really digging. The only thing that it's missing, I wish it had the little Red Cross logo. I think that'd look pretty cool, but I like the colors of the window and the siren, or the sirens on the top, the lights. Definitely looking cool. And then if you look down here at his mid-waist, there's a lot of silver detail in there. There's a lot of little tiny detail in there that just pops out and looks gorgeous. Alright, looking at the bottom half of the figure, we got some really nice detail on the forearms of the robot. I love the detail on the legs, the blue paint apps. There's a lot of really nice sculpted detail on the four parts of the legs. Really cool. And then, the back is what it is. It's basically a bunch of ambulance backing, a heavy retool of Off-Road, and that's pretty cool unto itself. For comparison, here we have First Aid with his Wavemate Streetwise, and wow, what a different paint scheme. I never really noticed how dirty white that Streetwise is compared to First Aid. First Aid is brilliant, perfect white, where this guy's kind of an off-white, eggshell white color, and that makes me like this guy so much more. Doesn't take anything from this one, because this guy's always kind of shiny, bright, and new, and he's the medic. He's supposed to look clean and sanitary, which this guy's looking all kinds of gritty, and I do appreciate that. And here is First Aid with another of his Wavemates. Here he is next to Rook. And again, the white is a little bit different. I think his just is slightly brighter than his. There's just a muted color compared to First Aid's, which is very interesting. But they are way more close in the whiteness as far as color goes than this guy. This guy's definitely got a nice dirty white, kind of eggshell white color, and that is pretty awesome. It's kind of cool to see the different shades in there, so they're not all exactly the same, which is the problem we had in the old G1 series. So that's kind of a nice update. And of course, what everyone wants to see, let's compare First Aid to Off-Road and see how big a difference they've done on the retooling. And here we have First Aid and Off-Road side by side, and wow, these figures look completely different. Now, I like to put the shoulder pads up on Off-Road here. I think that looks a little better on him. As you can see, the door panels are just kind of there on First Aid. And I think the actual instructions show they're kind of about the same way for Off-Road, but I just like to give them a little different look. So yeah, definitely cool. I am liking them together, but they are completely and utterly different figures, just like the Dead End and the Streetwise figure, which is really nice. Totally different head sculpts. We've got some differences in the chest here, which is very cool. The arms are completely different. The door panels look very, very different. Of course, the top of the cars look different. And the legs, completely different animals. So total rework of the parts, which is really nice. So let's go ahead and get some close-up shots and see how different they really are. All right, so obviously totally different head sculpts. The chest pieces look different in the fact that well, they're just different molds, utterly and completely different molds, which is really nice. We've got different molding textures here on the arms, just looking really, really cool. So just kind of a close-up here of this guy, so you can see his kind of chest there, and take a look at his arms. And we're going to put him back, and then we're going to bring this guy up, get him to focus. So yeah, totally different. In both of those aspects, and that is just really damn cool. Alright, and just one last shot here of the two bots together. Again, the legs, completely different. We got a lot of silver and piping, and looks like struts going on his legs here. And on this guy, we got some paint apps up at the top. Obviously no struts, and then he's got some nice little detail going on the legs there. So again, I really love the fact they have completely retooled the character. Alright, so here we have First Aid in his vehicle mode, his ambulance mode, and it doesn't look too terribly bad. I will say transformation on this figure is kind of annoying. Off-Road's was pretty bad too, but getting everything to clamp together, it just did not want to go for some reason. But yeah, overall, I like it. I like the blue windshields. I like the lights on the top, the red. We got the Autobot logo here. I think I would have liked... like I said, the Red Cross logo somewhere on here. It's got a nice painted silver grille. I do like that. It's got a little vent there. It says rescue and emergency on the side. We've got blue back here. Very cool. He's got this kind of funky spoiler going on the top. Very, very interesting. And then kind of, I guess, a door back there. Nice to have a couple tail lights. But overall, yeah, not too terribly bad of an ambulance. It's a little... blocky and gappy because they converted, and I don't know if this is supposed to go up more. It just doesn't want to go for me. But we got a lot of lines, and that really reminds me of the old Generations Ironhide figure, which is interesting to say the least. I don't know. It's okay. It's not too terribly bad. It's a decent resculpt. It honestly looks more like an armored car for banking than it does an ambulance to me, but it's okay. I can take this. I'll work with it. I mean, it's just going to be a part on the Defensor anyway. So, but honestly, I think the robot mode is far, far better. For comparison, here we have First Aid next to Transformers Robots in Disguise 2015 Strong Arm. These two vehicles, for some reason, really remind me of each other. You could probably retool this little McDonald's Happy Meal toy looking thing into an ambulance. You just have to put a part back here and then repaint it. I think this would actually make a better looking ambulance than this guy for some reason. But look at the size difference between those two. I mean, that is just crazy dumb how much smaller these figures are to the Robots in Disguise figures, at least this one in particular. Again, I'm glad it came with a comic book. And just to show off the previous generation's size of figures, here's Nightbeat with First Aid, and again, it's smaller. I mean, it's a lot more compact than this figure is, which is kind of a shame. And again, at least we're getting comic books with these figures getting smaller and the price staying the same or climbing. I mean, it's just getting kind of ridiculous at this point. And finally, here we have Off-Road and First Aid together. Obviously, this is the retool, and it's so dramatically different. I do appreciate the severe difference in the figures. Obviously, completely different front ends, different hoods. Even the cab up here is completely different. This one looks a lot more squished. The one thing I will say about this, at least this one has silver rims on the wheels. That's nice. I do appreciate that. And then, of course, this one has the back of the cab, which this one just has the truck bed. I mean, just totally different animals all together. Just kind of show the two there. I guess we can kind of push it back there, push it there. Oh, yeah. I mean, just totally, utterly, and completely different figures all together. And, you know, that's not a bad thing. I do like the fact that we got a totally different figure from a retooled previous mold, so I'm very appreciative of that. The transformation on this one isn't all that great, which kind of disappoints me because I love that robot mode. So is First Aid a figure you want in your Transformers collection? Well, again, if you're building Defensor, this is a must-have figure. Me personally, I really do like this figure. I think this could work as a good standalone in your Transformers collection. If you don't have a Ratchet, you know, do what I did when I was a kid. You get First Aid so that you've got a medic for your Autobots, and I think that would work really, really well in your Generations collection. Kids are definitely going to like it. If you were a G1 fan, I think you're going to fall in love with this figure. That head sculpt alone, it's so adorable. It is exactly what I remember from the cartoon show. A fantastic upgrade to the old Generation set. You know, and that being said, I mean, it's basically just an off-road retool and repaint, which is not bad. I like the fact that they've retooled the mold so that we can get multiple figures out of it. Ironhide is the same mold as well, but I think that this one pulls it off a little bit more, and I'm kind of surprised they went with a pickup truck instead of an SUV for Ironhide because we got the mold here. I don't know. But there he is, First Aid from the Protectobots in Transformers Combiner Wars.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, thumbs it up. If you hate this video, thumbs it down. To watch more Ultra Maximus, click on the links to the right. Don't forget to subscribe and share, and as always, look for more videos in the future.